everybody. Welcome back to We Are the Batman. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew.
All right, so we've had our first dip of the toe into the DCU and into their Batman with Creature Commandos in Dr. Phosphorus's backstory. Spoiler alert. And we figured now is a good time, you know, especially with us being now only a few months away from Superman, and Supergirl's in production, Lanterns is in production, Peacemaker season 2 is, I think, done at this point. So we thought it was like, well, we should probably start thinking about what a Batman's going to look like in the DCU. Before we get to that, as always, guys, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We love it when you do that. It makes us so very happy. And as always, hit us up on all the social medias at WATP Pod. Yeah, you missed it, man. Too late. It's gone. WTV Pod. Before we get into the actual podcast, though, Matt, how are you?
Excellent.
you do that while I fix my microphone.
What about you, brother? You been doing okay, or did I now?
You haven't even answered the question yet.
I'm doing well, man. That's February's here. A certain date is coming up that's moderately freaking me out, but other than that, we're doing good. I usually do a very good job of, I know this is coming, so getting a present for my wife that comes long before, so I don't do the, oh no, that's in a week. And then like I did it and got it, and then about 2 days after it arrived, she was like, I'd like this. And it was like, so I haven't purchased the thing that she
like
said
having
she
a
really
child
wanted.
at Christmas. Oh wait, you have those too.
Yeah. And then she sent me something the other day, and I'm like, okay, like I'm not trying to be weird about it, but it's also one of those like,
it's like, this is just Valentine's Day, right?
And I spent a lot of money on her gift. So
yeah,
if I wasn't afraid that she would randomly listen to this episode, I would tell you what it was.
Who doesn't have this problem? Single people like me. I just, you know what I'm going to do next Friday? Watch this episode after, or not this episode, but the new episode of our show after it drops, because it's.
You're not going to go see Captain America?
I'm seeing it Saturday. I'm seeing it Saturday morning with the mics. So
nice.
Nice. It's we're trying to hit like the big movies and stuff. Again, it's like if it's got a comic book character or a lightsaber in it, I will go see it in a theater. But
how did I saw that one clip and I was underwhelmed, and I'm really hoping.
Fantastic Four trailer.
No, the clip of Captain America fighting the guy. And do you need a minute?
Oh no, I haven't watched a thing. I stopped after. So full disclosure, so the way I operate with trailers is I watch the first trailer because that's the announcement, that's the tone.
Yeah.
And then I watch the second one because that's usually, here's the story pitch.
Yeah. And
then I'm done. I am done, especially after Deadpool and Wolverine, because there was two things that got spoiled for me 2 hours before I saw the fucking movie from their own trailer. It's like, that would have been really cool to see in theaters. Yeah. And if I'm being completely honest, I've already had something from Captain America 4 spoiled for me by a freaking Hulu ad. It's like, oh, that would have been a dope reveal to have in a movie theater. I mean, and I won't go into any details about it, but it's just like, it's like I avoid trailers, behind the scenes things, all that after the first 2, maybe 3, depending on the quality of the first 2. Yeah. But since I already brought it up, the Fantastic Four trailer dropped yesterday at the time that we're recording this. And I was whelmed, not underwhelmed, but just whelmed. I was because I'm, again, like, I'm on the record, is like, I'm just not. I have no connection to the Fantastic Four. Yeah. I have said numerous times on the internet, I don't think they can work. But based on what it seems like they're going for tonally, it's like, this is the only way to make them work, is to do this kind of movie. But how is this supposed to be? How does this fit in with everything else? You know what I mean? And so that's what I will say, though, is the guy playing, I'm vibing hard with The Thing.
Oh yeah,
I was vibing hard with that, and this is little thing, but kudos to the sound design for when he tasted the whatever the food was with his finger. If you listen, you can hear the sound of like rocks, like whoever did the Foley on that. Mwah, bravo.
Yeah,
Well
it doesn't clap. It's clank, clank, clank.
Yes, like well done on the sound design and his like. They did something that I was one of the things that the Josh Trank one did, which is like, yeah, just because he's a big doesn't like he's still a human, like his voice wouldn't suddenly be like that. That was a thing he did in the 60s, but like yeah, like his voice sounds a little weird, but yeah, it was fine. I just feel like given the hype and the shroud of mystery and like truly just the level of you guys aren't effing ready for this thing that Marvel has been putting up for it. I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. We're getting Galactus.
Yeah.
We knew that though. We knew that.
I think this is one of those teasers that's like, let me put your mind at ease. The trailer's going to blow you away. Like, hey, don't worry. It's nothing like the previous movies. These are the things. We're not going to have a cloud. It's going to be Galactus.
Yes.
That's kind of how I see this. It's like, hey, we've got it. And then the trailer is going to be like, oh, cool. But I'm also like,
there's two things they didn't give me in this trailer that are kind of my two big what ifs with Fantastic Four. And that's what's the CG on Silver Surfer going to look like?
Yeah.
That's a big what if. And then the elephant in the room is Mr. Fantastic's powers. Because they showed us as little of that as possible in Multiverse of Madness. They went out of their way to change Kamala's powers in Ms. Marvel specifically because they wanted to have some separation. And I'm still not convinced that her stretchy powers aren't coming with once the mutant stuff gets in, but that's another story. But it's really hard to do stretchy powers and have it not look dumb. Yeah. And have it, especially in a day and age where CGI is under, I dare say, a bit too harsh of scrutiny at times.
Yeah.
And so, but the fact that they didn't even like in the scene where the little montage moment where he's talking to Sue, he's like, before you couldn't turn invisible and Johnny couldn't turn in fire and Ben wasn't a rock. It's like, but you notice they don't even mention his power.
Yeah.
And it's just got me wondering.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll see. Like there's some things, like I didn't think the first Fantastic Four movie, I say that because, we all know there's the secret hidden first one that we just don't talk about. That like there were some of the times when he did the stretching stuff that it didn't look stupid. And then there was other times it was like, yeah, no, let's not have him do anything.
Yeah. We also, it's, and I will say, like, they're going for tone appropriate. Like, as far as like painting a pastiche of just like this other world, like just as a standalone Fantastic Four movie, yeah, sure. Yeah. But like for me, it's like, okay, cool. But
how does this come together?
Yeah. This is raising, and I know we'll find out when we see the movie. I'm acute, and it comes out 2 weeks after Superman.
2 weeks, yeah.
So like I'm acutely aware, like we're gonna find out this summer, but it is, and I'm also painfully aware to everybody down in the comments. Again, thank you for the engagement. Make sure you subscribe on your way down there. I'm also painfully aware of the fact that this was just the first teaser.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
But as far as a first teaser goes, I don't feel that teased. Like it feels like I ordered a $15 appetizer and you brought me out like a $15 potato skin appetizer, and you brought me out one hollowed out red skin potato. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's kind of what it's like. You talked a big game going into this trailer. I was kind of hoping for although I will say, to speak more on how much I love the stuff with the Thing, the promotional poster where it's all like it's a stretchy hand from off screen, a flaming fist, the invisible, and then just a rocked hand. And I was like, because it's Thing, Adam's family. Yep. Well done. Well done. Good job. Yes.
Yeah. Somebody did it right. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what? This has nothing to do with Matt.
What we're talking about today?
The DCU Batman. Nothing to do with the DCU Batman. So yeah, we figured it was we've kind of gotten enough of a palate tease. Speaking of appetizers, with James Gunn's DCU, and we know enough. We have enough of a frame of reference of where we're at in this world.
Yeah.
Start pitching some ideas of what we would like to see, what we think would work best. Choosing my words carefully here, for the DCU's Batman, and we set ourselves some parameters in a way. We want to make sure. I think that this has got to differentiate itself from the Matt Reeves. I dare say significantly.
Oh yeah, I think because I think similar to what we've seen with Superman, like you've got to make it not Snyderverse stuff, or
that's not a dig.
Previous, it's not a dig.
I mean, it might be, but
I mean, no, I'm not. I'm not meaning it as a dig of what I'm discussing.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be funny because we're about to talk a lot, so I'm trying to front load the jokes. So
yeah. Not like the Snyderverse. It's gonna be good. No, there, better.
You dick.
But no, I think just the thing that Ben Affleck's Batman did was you got that this guy he is unrealistic. There's nothing grounded or down to earth about him. Once he's got that bat suit on, he seems to be, in the times we've seen him do stuff, he's got strength and mobility beyond what you would expect from what they've given us in the past with Batman.
He was basically like, and I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, but he was almost like Ben Affleck's Batman was almost like on a meme level of his Batman. He was Batman to the nth degree. It was like, this was the Batman to the extreme everyone jokes about. Like, he's this crafty. He is that resourceful, that resilient. It was very like how we see him in a lot of the Justice League comics and in the Justice League cartoon, where it's just like, he's just kind of always around, always brooding, and just always has a blank check available.
Yeah. Well, I even mean like the way he moved, or the way he, I'm sure that grapple gun is great, but there's no way, even with the grapple gun, he would be able to hurl a crate one-armed, stuff like that. And it's okay.
Yeah. No.
I think that's what it is. Like,
it's one of those
where is that going to hit?
If you watch the behind the scenes on it, it's one of those, like, they talk about like all the lore and detail. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, man. None of that comes across in the movie, though. He's like, because you see all these different ones, and they all are on the back wall, and they're each different levels of evolution. So you can see he's been working on them for all these years. And I'm like, yeah, cool. You see that in the background of like half a frame of one scene. That's great. You did all this world building that nobody got to experience.
That'd be a great fifth movie.
That'd be a great, That'd be a great panel in a comic book, Zach.
Yeah,
love the movie.
Yeah, but I think that's where, like with this, there's a, like you're saying, like similar with the Superman. This thing has to look unlike anything, and the problem with Batman, unlike Superman, is we've had a lot of Batmans.
We've had so many Batmans and a lot of look. I mean, think about how many different looks
just in live action.
Christian Bale alone had.
Yeah. One for each movie. Even though the last two, they made them different.
Yeah, it's variable. But even if you look at Val Kilmer and George Clooney, each wear like 3 different suits, and each of them only gets like 1 movie. Val Kilmer was like 3 suits in 1 movie. George Clooney was like 3 suits in 1 movie. So like, we've done a lot of bat suits.
Yeah. Well, because you think that kind of thinking about like Christopher Reeve when he was Superman, they were not trying to sell toys. He just wore the exact same suit all 4 of those movies.
Really think about it, like. Even as many Superman movies as we haven't had a ton, but we've had a lot of Superman movies. We've had a significant amount. Other than just the fact that Cavill's just didn't have trunks, suits never changed that much.
Well, his
Superman's look in general, yeah,
like the colors changed. Like isn't the Justice League was a little bit brighter if you're not talking about the extended cut?
It depends on what you're talking about, yeah.
But yeah, like it's the same suit, you know.
Yeah,
and I think that's where with this James Gunn Superman, you don't have as many things to worry about. Make it cloth. No one's ever made it cloth. Cool.
Yeah.
You don't have that luxury, Batman.
No, you really, and that's that. And we talked about this when we were watching the Batman Beyond fan film, because we see the look they do for the Royal Flush Gang. By the way, if you guys haven't checked out our reaction, it's dope. Like our reaction and the fan film itself, like,
yeah.
But in Batman Beyond, the Royal Flush Gang, because this was in the era of drawing on a skeleton, were basically wearing white morph suits. You're not going to do that in a live action movie. No. People have bits that jiggle,
and you have to do stunts.
Yeah. So like I'm not saying you can't, but it's not going to translate well to screen live action. So with Batman. Yeah, like on a comic book page, the gray and the trunks where it's like, lycra or whatever. It looks so good on a comic book. I don't. It could be proven wrong, and I am always open to being proven wrong. But I feel like, and you and I have talked about this off mic, and I think it's a good time to bring it up. But like when you take a look at like what they did with Captain America: Winter Soldier. His suit, you take that and the Battinson suit and whatever the overlap in that Venn diagram is.
See, I'm going to take it a little step further. And the thing, as a cosplayer dealing with it, and even some of the actors have talked about it, like, give me a cloth mask. Get away from the urethane mask. They've all done it.
What I'm curious, what did you think about, because Battinson had like a hand-stitched leather?
I mean, but it was probably urethane on set. Like, it made to look that way, but it's probably urethane.
I'm actually curious about it. I'd actually be curious. I'm not gonna look it up right now, but I'd be curious about that. But either way, but no, you're not wrong though. I mean, like you make a point of pointing out
because the thing
graphite or something.
Yeah, because the thing I think about is I know they CGI it so he has more expressions. I'm not saying you should do that with Batman per se, but think about Deadpool. Deadpool has a complete total mask, covers his face, it's cloth. You can do that with Batman's mask. It would take some engineering. It's what I've always wanted to do. If I ever cosplayed Batman again, I would take way too long to engineer a mask that was cloth. And I think if you can do that, that would be the easiest way to make your Batman look like no one has ever looked before in Batman. It'd be a pain. It would be difficult. But I think that is how you could make this. Because, again, like you're saying, going into the Winter Soldier, the stealth suit of Captain America's, you give him that Kevlar-looking cloth, continue that with the mask and the cape. I think, like, now you've got a Batman we have never seen. We have never seen a Batman that doesn't have rubber on his face and his head and has to wear the eye makeup. If you rid of the eye makeup,
you're never going to get rid of the eye makeup. I mean, if anything, I think Matt Reeves,
he leaned into it.
He leaned into it and found a way to so I almost feel like that's him, like putting the challenge to literally anybody else who does Batman going forward. Like, there you go, guys. I made it not lame. The challenge has been laid. Your move.
That's why I'm going back to Deadpool. Give him the white eyes.
So
give him the white.
No, don't put that in the universe.
Yes.
Oh God, no.
Yes.
No. Yes. You know what, guys? Get us on social media at WATV Pod. Don't care where, preferably on Threads for this one. I'll put all of, you know what, I'm gonna put up a poll right now as I'm recording this.
It would be very difficult because part of what allowed Robert Pattinson to act through his mask was that you could see his eyes. So I don't know if they would do that, or even if you had it where he could like click, 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 whatever. I think that would be another thing to do to kind of like, this is a brand new version of Batman we've never seen. Because aside from like 2-second clips of like the sonar suit or when the Dark Knight uses the special cam thing, you don't ever see him cover his eyes. And I think that would be something that could be interesting.
And I'll put the results up in the edit because I was only there for like 24 hours. So it's up now on Threads. If you're following us, that's how you know. I just kicked my camera. I am so vehemently anti white eyes. If for nothing else, and I don't mean to grandstand too much here, but if for nothing else, then and I realize there was a litany of problems with this movie, but Black Adam, you know, with Atom Smasher, when he was huge, everything they did with him felt like leftover Deadpool CG in a way that I did not love. And the reason for that was because, and I think even Ryan Reynolds has talked about like they have to spend so much money on animating because it's the only way they can, because again, it's meant to be true to the comic.
Yeah.
I'm also against, but speaking on Deadpool, and I know there's kind of a divide here, but in Deadpool and Wolverine, when Wolverine put on the mask and they did his white eyes, I didn't love it. I didn't think it worked. I felt like you could tell the white eyes were CGI'd on. And I'm being serious. Like you could tell those because you can't have an actor because that doesn't exist. Like that doesn't actually exist. Like that's, everyone keeps saying like, do the white eyes. Okay. But you guys realize that's not real. Like you realize that's not actually, like the way that's written in comics is that their masks have like the like in police interrogation rooms, like it's a mirror on one side and see-through glass, a one-way mirror basically. And I was like, and that's how it's written and has always been written in comic lore since the dawn of time. Yeah, when you CGI white into the eyes, it looks dumb. And it honestly, it took away a little bit from what were, I think, meant to be some impactful scenes for Hugh Jackman. Not that they weren't impactful, but you lose when you watch Robert Pattinson. And again, this is a lot about the actor, but you got to get that. You need the eyes for the acting.
Yeah, and that's why I said it'd be hard to do, but that's something I think would be interesting. And then, but again, going to the Deadpool thing, part of what allows that to work is because they CGI the expressions. I don't know how you do that with Batman.
And that's I think you're going to run into some uncanny valley shit, and also because with Deadpool specifically, even with Wolverine, a lot of it is his eyes are white, but it's high motion, you're not spending a lot of that. With Batman, we spent a lot of time on just him in the mask and on screen.
Yeah, there's a reason Wolverine doesn't put that thing on until like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
There's a reason why young Carrie Fisher and Grand Moff Tarkin are only visible on screen in camera for a short amount of time in Rogue One, because the longer you look at it, the harder it is to look at. So I do not feel like the white eyes. I feel like the white eyes thing only works when you do it as a gimmick in like the Dark Knight or whatever, where it's like, there, haha, we did it. He had the white eyes. Shut up about it. You know what I mean? Just let it go. Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm sorry. I don't know why the white eyes thing is so triggering for me. It always has been, and I don't know why.
Well, and I think too is like, because no one's done it right. Now I know you haven't watched it, but like the next we eventually there's going to be a very fun fan film reaction we did.
We're going through some more of these Batman fan films because they're actually quite fun and we're enjoying watching them.
And I had to throw a curveball at him, but they did it.
I'm never going to forgive you for that. You guys will see it when it goes up next month.
But
actually, it's February.
Yeah, what they used to do is they would put white contacts in the guy's eyes to make it white, and it was like, that's more unsettling than if you just didn't have the expressions. Like, because really
they're still somewhat translucent because they have to be able to see through them. Yeah. And it looks. I watched this show on Dropout called Nobody Asked, and it's basically like their version of Mythbusters, but if everybody liked each other. Yeah. And it's literally the theme is like, what if we answer the questions nobody asked? And so somebody was like, what if you found out like your exact skin tone, like from like a color wheel perspective? So they basically took like a shitload of skin tone photos of her skin. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And got her down and basically dyed her hair and got like a makeup foundation and then got contact lenses and did like the temporary like eye cover so that she came out in like fully her. And it was so unsettling to see somebody 100% their skin tone from the hair down. I had to like fast forward through. I was like, no, can't look at it. Nope. Yeah. Anyway, back to
but no, so to, as far as the look, I think you just have to do something drastically different.
Yeah.
Don't do the rubber bodysuit. Don't do the fake muscle thing. But at the same time, because like I like Pattinson's suit, and I've talked about this before. Look at this shirt. Look at my favorite Neil Adams as Batman. A nice lean Batman is my favorite. And I think
you
they
like
do that. Well, I think because Pattinson's not a big dude, so you got to make him look a little bigger.
Yeah.
You know, so
not that he didn't get like in shape, but he's not Ben Affleck.
He's not big.
Yeah, he's not a big slab of beef.
Well, and it also goes to that whole thing of like, think of it this way. Robert Pattinson's not a big guy, but even at his biggest, if you put him next to Colin Farrell in that penguin suit, he's going to look little.
Yeah.
You know, I've always had this thing of like, all of Captain America's Avenger suits are much more padded than his suits in his own movies.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that comes from, is you got to make the hero, you know, sometimes look big. But I think that,
well, yeah, because you know, you're not Captain America Civil War is when you give him the money shot, you know.
Yeah.
gripping the grip. Oh, just every time, you know. Yeah, you don't get to do that, you know. Not that he doesn't get to have some starring moments, and you know, I mean, Age of Ultron, he splits that log in half.
But no, I think as far as tone of the movie, there's also kind of a weird thing of like, you know, the Pattinson is very dark, very noir detective. I think you can have some of that, but you also have to have like a little bit more of like seeing what he's like with other heroes. Again, we haven't gotten that a lot. You know, and I will take a small pot shot at Snyderverse at this point. Is that like
we've built up enough goodwill?
Yeah. Well, no, is that like, as much as it was cool to see Batman with Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash, like those guys are in such weird spots. You don't get to see seasoned heroes dealing with a seasoned Batman, and we didn't get Superman and Batman at all.
No,
you know. So to see Batman with other seasoned heroes and them all basically like, crap, he's right, I think is something that will be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
And again, because like just looking at the trailer for the Superman movie, it's obvious this world has had heroes for a while.
Well, and we know, and this goes into both the tone and kind of the setting as well. We know from Creature Commandos, he's been operating for at least 15 years. Yeah. At least, because he's the one who takes down Dr. Phosphorus in his origin story initially. And Dr. Phosphorus says he hasn't been touched, you know, in 15 years when he makes that joke. So it means he's been in his condition for 15 years. Well, Rupert Thorne was active. He's the one who did that to Dr. Phosphorus. Rupert Thorne wasn't active until well after Batman was active. So he's been around at least 15 years.
Yeah. So now you also got that, like, again, a very seasoned Batman, which we haven't had. I mean, again, kind of Ben Affleck, but we haven't had that like true serious, because that's what also like will be interesting in the suit is like, you know, Pattinson's building his stuff and trying to figure things out. Like you've got a Batman.
His suit's designed to like be taken apart and fit inside of a backpack so that he can slip in and out of trains and, you know, nightclubs and shit.
Yeah.
So this is a Batman who's past that.
Yeah. Like, no, I'll just show up as Batman and see what happens.
I'm just going to stand over the skylight and watch this like weird glowing guy dance for a little bit. It's like, I'm going to let him have his moment. Like, no, he's vibing. I'm not one to, I'm not one to throw off the Emperor's groove, but like when he's done, you know.
Yeah. So I think that's another part of it is that you really, to see him, it's what I've always said, is like Batman is so cool, but nothing's cooler than watching him scold these other heroes, or, you know, you came up with all these plans for us. What did you, what backup plan did you come to take you, you know, plan did you create to take you down?
It's called the
Justice League.
It's called you guys. If the 7 of you together can't take me down, yikes.
Yeah.
But also good luck, because I know how to kill you. It's for me, it goes to I'm looking forward to seeing a Batman that is Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon, who is just, I'm getting too old for this shit. I am looking forward to a Batman, because we know we're getting a Batman, and we're going to address this. We know we're getting a Batman who's at the point where he's got Damian.
Yeah.
So he's been around for a bit, again, at least 15 years. So this is the Batman who's probably spending this is the Batman who we are going to see groaning whenever something magic happens. This is the Batman who is going to be sitting there trying to do the files while everybody else is like trying to plan pizza night behind him, and he's just like, for the love of God, you all just go upstairs. Go upstairs and let Dad work. Like, I'm looking forward to this being like grumpy dad of a bunch of obnoxious teenagers Batman. Who like we all work in the family business, and when we're on the clock, we do the job. But like, Dad's just trying to punch the clock and go home and move on to the next job, and everyone else is trying to make the job fun.
Yeah,
that's what we want to see with Batman and his Bat family, and also just the rest of the DCU. Is like, Batman's the guy who's there to. We all work with somebody like that. It's like, I'm there to do the job. That's it, just the job.
Now, I mean, we don't want to go too into the woods about the Robin stuff. I think we decided we're going to do that for another episode. But I do want to put this out there, and even for everybody else to discuss. Do you think we're getting all of the Robins?
Yeah, that's the big question: is how many Robins are we getting? We know we're getting Damian Wayne.
That's all we have for sure.
That's all we know for sure. There is no confirmation that this dynamic duo animated movie is going to be canon at all. We're still waiting. We have no confirmation of that.
I would say from the description that they're like kind of thieves or something like that. I don't think it's going to be in canon.
I don't know anything about it. I've read so many different things about it. All I know is that it's about Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Yeah. But yeah, we don't know anything. So I am curious what the rest of the Bat family is going to look like, and how long it will take before we find out there's no Tim Drake in the DCU, because he always seems to just get erased no matter what. Justice for Tim Drake is all I'm saying. Not my favorite, but he's still a Robin. That's all I'm saying.
I'm honestly really curious if there'll be anybody else as far as Robins are concerned besides Dick Grayson. Like, I'm really wondering, because that's a lot of content.
Here's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to name drop them and leave it at that. You name drop them and leave them. You say something to the effect of like, Dick wasn't the first, and you're not and you won't be the last. Like, you can name drop it and plant the seeds through dialogue that there are others and have been others. But as far as like who we're gonna physically see on screen in Batman Brave and the Bold, it's Damian and Dick, maybe Jason.
Yeah. Well, and we also have no idea. I mean, I would assume so, just because. But I'm sure Batgirl's going to be out there.
Well, at this point, she's probably Oracle. unless they take the route where they're in right now with the Nightwing comics, where she's, you know, got the implant and all that. It is so or we're gonna do that live action and break all of our hearts.
Well, because the thing too, you think about, like, we were playing with what we know of the comics. Who's to say Dick Grayson?
You're not wrong.
Dick Grayson exists. Jason Todd is dead. Damian's here. Your second Batman movie is under the Red Hood. And Batgirl could still be here, and Joker comes and shoots her, and that's a different show. Like, again, you're assuming it's going the way it's always been. Like, we're in a brand new world, so it could be that's where we're at. Here's
what I'm going to say, and this is kind of the last thing I want to say on it, because I know we've been going a little bit long here, but and this is something we're going to save, because we're going to have a whole separate discussion of another episode about Damian Wayne, because I personally have a lot of feelings about Damian Wayne that I haven't really gone into too much on this show, and I think it's time but we'll talk about that in another show. But all I'll say is that if that's the direction they're going, it's going to really come down to their handling of the character of Damian himself. I don't want to say too much more than that, other than I have some issues with the handling of Damian's origins specifically, where depending on the direction they take Damian with the DCU is going to depend on but we will talk about that in a separate episode of the show.
We'll do a Robin's episode.
Yeah, we're going to do one last thing I think that this Batman needs to have is that this Batman needs to have pouches on his utility belt.
Yes.
I want pouches. I want him flipping something up and pulling out, you know, I want this Batman to be MacGyver-y.
Yeah.
I really like that in Batman Begins. I want that back. I like that. Yeah. It sucks that it was only for the montage. Bring that back. Make it, you know, let's have this
gadgets.
Let's have this be the James Bond gadget Batman.
Yeah, he's well in, so he's gonna have developed all kinds of stuff. And give me a Batmobile that has the bat symbol on it. We haven't had that in a bit.
I want this Batmobile to be. I think this Batmobile needs to be like base, like once he like when Pattinson gets into his Batmobile, like he's in the Batmobile, but that car is not safe. That is a Chevy with a jet turbine on the back. Like I think the DCU's Batmobile needs to be like he's in the Batmobile. You can't run fast enough.
I want it to be what's it called? The Batmobile from the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah. It needs to be the Mach 5 of Batmobiles. I want this thing to just what do you guys think what do you guys think the Batmobile should? What do you think the DCU Batman should be like? Let us know down in the comments, and as always, subscribe on your way down there, because you know it's on the way. It's sufficient. Make sure you guys hit us up on social media at WATB Pod, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads.
There.
Yeah, there you go. I put the poll up on Threads. I'll take this down. Hey, Future Mike, put in here what, if anything, who knows? Sometimes these polls do great. Sometimes nobody gives a shit. So we'll see. But the White Eyes debate is a hot one. Let us know. We will see you guys again here next time. Same bad time, same bad podcast channel.
Bye-bye.